The hospital room was dim. My grandfather's breath was shallow, and I was holding his hand. My family? Gone. No one had bothered to show up. No one even called to ask if we were okay. Not my sister, not my cousin, not my aunt or uncle. And they didn't just leave once. They abandoned us for good. 7 years. That's how long it took for them to crawl back. 7 years since they'd left me and Grandpa alone in a sterile room with no visitors, no comfort, no family. But they came back, at the funeral, demanding what they thought was rightfully theirs. I remember the exact moment they showed up. Her, my sister, and the rest of them walking in like they owned the place, like they hadn't disappeared the second Grandpa's health took a turn. They stood there, eyes darting around, acting as if they were there to mourn. But they weren't. They were there for one thing and one thing only: the inheritance. I could almost smell the greed radiating off them. The same people who hadn't even sent a card when he was dying. The same people who couldn't be bothered to care when he needed them most. And now? Now they were going to play the mourning family card. 7 years ago, when Grandpa's condition worsened, my sister called and said she couldn't come. "It's not a good time," she said. But when the inheritance came up in conversation, suddenly she had a lot of time on her hands. I was the one who stayed by Grandpa's side. I was the one who watched him deteriorate. Every shift, every change, every slight improvement, I was there, holding his hand, giving him the dignity he deserved. While they partied, while they lived their lives. Then came the day I realized the betrayal was complete. Grandpa's health was failing, and I tried reaching out to them, just to ask for help, even if it was just emotional support. But my sister, she refused to answer. No calls, no texts. And then the call came. The lawyer's office wanted to discuss Grandpa's will. That's when it clicked. I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I just closed the door and started thinking. I knew I couldn't let them take it. I couldn't let them win. They thought I was weak. They thought I'd crumble under the weight of their abandonment. But they didn't understand who they were dealing with. I kept things quiet. I learned everything. The financials, the investments Grandpa had made over the years, the debts my family had racked up in his name without his consent. I knew everything. And when I saw the opportunity, I took it. I spent years learning the legal side, understanding the loopholes, and making sure that when they showed up, they wouldn't stand a chance. I let them believe they had control, let them think they had the upper hand. And when they showed up at the funeral, all smiles and empty words, I was ready. The lawyer stood before the group of us. I could see my sister looking around, making sure her clothes were perfect, her hair just right. The others, her husband, her kids, the extended family, sat quietly, waiting for what was supposed to be a simple reading. They weren't prepared for what came next. The lawyer started reading the will, his voice steady, almost mechanical. I, Raymond Aldridge, being of sound mind and body, hereby bequeath my entire estate, assets, and holdings to my granddaughter, Claire Aldridge, with the following conditions. My sister's face dropped first. Her husband's smirk disappeared. The remaining assets are to be sold and the proceeds donated to the hospital where I received care during my final months. No inheritance will be given to any individual who failed to show loyalty or care during my time of need. The room went silent. It was beautiful. Their jaws went slack. They all sat there, stunned. I could feel the weight of the moment, the realization that their greed had betrayed them in the most poetic way. They tried to argue, of course they did. They tried to scream, but the lawyer was prepared. "No," he cut them off. "The will is clear. No changes. You have no claim here." I don't know how long they argued after that. I just stood there, silent, watching as their faces flushed with rage and humiliation. It was satisfying, watching them fall from grace, watching them realize they were nothing in the face of my patience, my strategy. They thought I was the one who'd been abandoned, the one who would fade into the background. But I wasn't. I wasn't weak. And now they could see it. The only one who'd mattered was Grandpa, and I had made sure his legacy would outlive them. They left in silence, their pride shattered, their faces pale, their futures uncertain. I walked out of the funeral home alone, the weight of everything that had happened falling over me. It wasn't about the money. It was about justice. They left us to rot. They ignored us when we needed them most, and I let them believe.